On June 12th, 2026, something happened that has never happened before in the history of human civilization. A single person became worth $1 trillion. Not a country, not a corporation, a person. His name is Elon Musk. And as of today, his net worth is approximately $1.1 trillion. To put that number in perspective, only 20 countries on the entire planet have an economy larger than Musk's personal fortune. His wealth exceeds the gross domestic product of Sweden, Ireland, and Taiwan. It is roughly equal to the entire economic output of Manhattan, the financial capital of the world. He is now worth nearly 4 times more than the second richest person alive, Google co-founder Larry Page, who is worth $292 billion. His fortune exceeds the combined wealth of the next 5 richest billionaires on Earth. He is not just the richest person in the world, he is the richest person who has ever lived. And it all happened because of a rocket company. This morning, SpaceX, the private aerospace company Musk founded in 2002, began trading on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange in the largest initial public offering in market history. Shares were priced at $135 each, valuing the company at approximately $1.77 trillion. Within hours, the stock jumped to around $164, pushing the company's value close to $2 trillion. Musk holds approximately 4.76 billion shares in SpaceX. At the IPO price, his stake alone is worth more than $766 billion. Add his Tesla holdings, worth roughly $280 billion, and his total net worth crossed the $1 trillion mark before lunch. The IPO also raised $75 billion in fresh capital for SpaceX, money that will fund the company's most ambitious goals, including putting humans on Mars. But the story of how Elon Musk went from a bullied kid in South Africa to the first trillionaire in history is far stranger than the headlines suggest. Elon Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa, in 1971. By his own account, his childhood was difficult. He was severely bullied at school, once beaten so badly he was hospitalized. He taught himself to code at age 10 on a Commodore VIC-20 computer. At 12, he sold his first video game for $500. At 17, he left South Africa for Canada, eventually transferring to the University of Pennsylvania and then dropping out of a PhD program at Stanford after just 2 days, because he wanted to build internet companies during the dot-com boom. His first major success was Zip2, an online city guide, which he sold for $307 million in 1999. He used that money to co-found X.com, an online payment company that later merged with another startup to become PayPal. When eBay bought PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion, Musk walked away with $165 million. Most people would have retired. Musk did the opposite. He split his fortune into 3 of the most ambitious bets in business history. He put $100 million into SpaceX, a company that would try to make space travel affordable. He put $70 million into Tesla, a company that would try to make electric cars mainstream. And he put $10 million into SolarCity, a company focused on solar energy. All 3 were considered insane. In the early years, all 3 nearly failed. SpaceX's first 3 rocket launches exploded. Tesla almost went bankrupt in 2008. Musk was sleeping on friends' couches and borrowing money to pay rent. He later said that 2008 was the worst year of his life. His marriage was falling apart, his companies were dying, and he was running out of money. But he refused to quit. SpaceX's 4th rocket launch succeeded, barely, securing a NASA contract worth $1.6 billion. Tesla received a government loan just in time to avoid bankruptcy. Both companies survived. And then they did something nobody expected. They became dominant. SpaceX revolutionized the space industry with reusable rockets. The Falcon 9 became the most launched orbital rocket in history. Starship, the largest and most powerful rocket ever built, completed successful test flights. NASA chose SpaceX to build the lunar lander for the Artemis program, and SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet network now serves over 5 million users across 75 countries, generating billions in recurring revenue. Tesla, meanwhile, went from a niche electric car maker to the most valuable automaker on Earth, worth roughly $1.4 trillion. And Musk did not stop there. He launched Neuralink, a brain-computer interface company, the Boring Company, which builds underground transportation tunnels. He bought Twitter for $44 billion and renamed it X. And in 2024, he founded XAI, an artificial intelligence company that merged with other parts of his empire in February 2026, adding roughly $100 billion to his fortune in a single corporate action. The path to $1 trillion was not a straight line. In late 2022, Musk's net worth had dropped to around $137 billion, a loss of more than $200 billion from his peak, largely because of the Twitter acquisition and falling Tesla stock. But the recovery was astonishing. By October 2025, he became the first person to reach $500 billion. By early 2026, he crossed $800 billion. And today, with the SpaceX IPO, he crossed the $1 trillion threshold. The speed of this accumulation is unprecedented. He went from $800 billion to $1.1 trillion in just 4 months. But there are important caveats. More than 90% of Musk's wealth is locked in company stock. He cannot sell his SpaceX shares for at least 366 days due to insider lockup restrictions. His wealth exists on paper. It fluctuates with stock prices and could decrease dramatically if Tesla or SpaceX shares decline. He is a trillionaire on paper, not in cash. And the debate around this milestone is intense. Critics argue that no individual should possess wealth equivalent to the economy of a mid-sized country while millions struggle with poverty, housing, and healthcare. Supporters argue that Musk's companies have created tens of thousands of jobs, accelerated the transition to electric vehicles, revolutionized space travel, and expanded internet access to remote areas around the world. The SpaceX IPO alone created thousands of new millionaires among the company's employees. Whatever your opinion on the man, the milestone is undeniable. For the first time in human history, a single person holds $1 trillion in wealth. It took humanity thousands of years to produce its first billionaire. It took just over a century to go from a billion to a trillion. And the man who got there first did it by betting everything, his money, his reputation, his sanity, on rockets, electric cars, and the belief that humanity's future lies beyond this planet. Whether that makes him a visionary or a cautionary tale depends on what happens next. But today, June 12th, 2026, the number is real. $1 trillion. One person. And a world still trying to understand what that means. This has been The Odd Vault. If this unlocks something in your mind, subscribe, because we open a new vault every week. What they didn't tell you, we will.